Hi, this is Ken McCarthy from Jazz on the Tube, and I want to read a press release. And I don't think I've ever read a press release on air before, but there's always a first time for everything, and this is an exciting thing. It comes from our good friends at the Jazz Cruises. And realistically, not everybody can afford to go on a jazz cruise, but whether we all can afford it or not, it is a great, great institution. Why? Because it creates high quality gigs for our musicians. Not only pays well, Jazz Cruises has one of the best music sound systems on the planet. And our hard-working musicians who are often, in Cincinnati today and St. Louis tomorrow and, you know, Wisconsin the next day, they can just chill for a week or so, hang out with their friends, talk with fans, get involved in impromptu jam sessions. I mean, it's a nice break for them as well as a great gig. So Jazz Cruise is one of the great institutions of jazz. It's like a floating jazz city. It's like, imagine if you could take Kansas City during the 1930s and bring it back and float it around in a boat for 7 to 10 days. I mean, that's really kind of what it's like. So I want to read this now. Obviously, they've been just slammed with the events of the last 2 years, and I worried. They were one of the first groups I worried about, and they're keeping it together against all odds, and they're being very creative. So let's read. I'm going to read to you what they're doing, and if you can support it, support it. We certainly do, and we support everything they do because they are great, great friends of jazz. Also, I want to say this too. Their cruises are like one of the best jazz festivals on earth. Now, they don't pitch what they're doing as a jazz festival. They pitch it as a jazz cruise, but in effect, it's a jazz festival. And unlike a lot of jazz festivals that have become watered down with other acts, this one's pure jazz. So I love them. I love them. Jazz Cruises, good friends. Okay, so here's the press release. Local jazz organizations, Jazz Cruise and Jazz St. Louis joined forces for concert series creating largest jazz promoting partnership in the Midwest. Grammy-winning guitarist vocalist George Benson, the great George Benson, will kick off the series with a special concert at The Factory, which I imagine is a club in St. Louis, on May 12th, 2022. Here's the rest of the press release. St. Louis-based Jazz Cruises and Jazz St. Louis are joining forces to launch a series of high-profile jazz concerts throughout the year. Jazz Cruises will execute the shows and handle programming using its production expertise and industry relationships, covering the cost of production with Jazz St. Louis as the beneficiary of the proceeds. Oh my God, this is such a brilliant idea. With nearly $5 million in combined annual booking fees of jazz artists, this for-profit benefiting the nonprofit venture has created the most significant jazz promoting partnership in the Midwest. They may be underselling themselves. I don't know anybody that's doing anything this great anywhere in the world, but that's typical of people from the Midwest to understate things. So we said that I've always said that Jazz Cruise provides a lot of paydays for a lot of our beloved musicians, and now we've got a number. $5 million a year. Wow. Okay, the first concert will feature legendary guitarist, vocalist, and 10-time Grammy winner George Benson performing at the Factory on May 12th, 2022, exactly 5 years to the day since his last performance in St. Louis. Also appearing on the bill is an all-star group led by 3-time Grammy winner, saxophonist Eric Marienthal, sorry guy, Marienthal, don't know about how to pronounce that name, and 7 times Grammy winner, trumpeter Randy Brecker. Joining them on the piano is 2-time Grammy winner George Whitty. Wow, I wish I could go. Maybe I will. Tickets are on sale now. More artists will be announced at a later date, and you can learn more about upcoming events and purchase tickets here, and we will put the link there for you. I'm going to continue. Through Jazz Cruises, Although Jazz Cruises produced its first full ship charters in 2001, it can trace its origins to other jazz cruise formats going back as 1975 under the direction of founder Anita E. Berry, one of the great patron saints of jazz. Jazz St. Louis has had a similar trajectory under the leadership of its founder, Barbara Ross. Amazing how important, and this is an unheralded thing, how important women producers and impresarios and organizers have been to jazz music. You know me, I can't avoid a sidebar. We also have to give acknowledgement not only to all the great women musicians. Don't forget Mary Lou Williams taught the young beboppers harmony, but we also have to think of all the music teachers. I tell you, man, you scratch the history of a great jazz musician, and very often it's going to say, I started piano lessons with this local lady. It's an important part of our history, and we need to pay attention. Anyway, where am I? Okay. The first incarnation of Jazz St. Louis began in 1995. As fate would have it, not only did Berry and Rose know each other, they were good friends and bridge partners. How do you like that? Somewhere in heaven, Mom, Anita Berry, and Barbara are sharing a smile about all this. Though it took nearly 50 years to accomplish, the two organizations they created are now working together to bring the very best in jazz to St. Louis, says Michael Lazaroff, son of Anita E. Berry and longtime executive director of Jazz Cruises. I just want to add, I hope that these performances are videotaped, and I hope somehow the whole world gets an opportunity to pay to see these performances. This is a great, great, great model, and nobody does it better than Jazz Cruises. You're not going to find better production, and the artists always deliver. And Jazz Cruises has some great artists in their relationships book, so this could be even bigger than the Midwest. Anyway, let's talk about George Benson. A child prodigy raised in the jazz-rich city of Pittsburgh, and we've covered that quite a bit. George Benson started his career as a sideman with organist Jack McDuff in the 1960s. Benson made his debut album, The New Boss Guitar, when he was just 21 years old. He would record more than 36 albums, including the 3-time platinum-selling Breezin'. A 10-time Grammy Award winner, Benson was named a National Endowment on the Art Jazz Master in 2009, the highest honor for a jazz musician, and was given a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. A headliner at festivals worldwide, the dynamic singer and guitarist is one of the most famous jazz and R&B musicians of all time, and one of the best guitar players of all time. Joining Benson at the Factory is an all-star group led by Eric Marienthal, Randy Becker, who have won 11 Grammy Awards. Their latest release, Double Dealing, is nominated for a Grammy this year. The group also includes noted keyboardist and producer George Whitty, who has performed and recorded with the Brecker Brothers, Chaka Khan, Herbie Hancock, Santana, Grover Washington, and many others. So about Jazz Cruises, St. Louis-based Jazz Cruises has been the premier producer of jazz and music cruises since 2001, including the Smooth Jazz Cruise, the Jazz Cruise, and the Blue Note at Sea. Over the years, Jazz Cruises has produced other land-based events, which will be the 4th time it has presented George Benson. For more information about Jazz Cruises, visit yourjazzcruises.com. About Jazz St. Louis. Jazz St. Louis is the preeminent producer of jazz programs in St. Louis. This nonprofit organization advances the uniquely American art of jazz through performance, education, community engagement. Each year presenting over 270 performances in its internationally acclaimed concert series. Jazz St. Louis takes a 3-pronged approach to its work, presenting jazz, encouraging and educating future audiences, our children, and nurturing budding musicians. For more information about Jazz St. Louis, visit jazzstlouis.org. And again, we're going to put all these links somewhere where you can get them and click. Okay, the Factory. About the Factory. There was a great music club, by the way, in Manchester called The Factory. That's where rave music started. Anyway, The Factory is a brand new music venue that is first built from the ground that is the first built from the ground up performance venue in the Midwest in over 20 years. How do you like that? In this dark, dark, dark time when so many of our live music venues have been destroyed, we've got a brand new music venue, first one in the Midwest in over 20 years. It's 152,000 square feet. Was constructed. Am I reading this right? That's a lot of square feet, guys. I'm kind of familiar with how big 50,000 square feet is, but viscerally I'm familiar. I can't even imagine 152,000, but anyway, it was constructed specially for live music with every detail designed for the performer and the audience. The industrial style of the factory takes cues from old factories and manufacturing spaces with appointments like weathered wood, open metalwork stairs, exposed brick, industrial fixtures, lighting fixtures, and polished concrete. Located in St. Louis's upscale community of Chesterfield, the factory is one of the anchors in the new entertainment complex, the District. It is surrounded by restaurants, shops, and entertainment options designed to appeal to everyone. For more information, visit the factory. And let's hope the Securitans don't destroy this new venture. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful thing. So we're going to put all the links below. And again, just to recap, this is two great institutions, Jazz Cruises and Jazz St. Louis, both based in St. Louis, the great powerhouse of music, the Midwest, and it really is. I mean, try to take St. Louis, Chicago, and Detroit out of the American music story and see what you got left. You'll have something, but it will be a shadow of its former self. So all praise to these great, innovative, courageous people that are working hard to support our musicians and create the opportunity for the transcendent experience of live jazz.